Welcome to the Outer Realm with MicheleDerocher and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 from the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM from New Orleans. We are fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee, who have been a part of our journey for the last several years. So thank you, Folgers. We couldn't do it without you, nor would we want to. Also, big thank you to Justice Snicker, aka Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, for the contribution of his music, his time, and his voice for the intro you just heard. He is an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite music streaming platforms. So, also, a big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind all of our logos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Also specializes in the horror genre, but does great commission pieces of any sort. So thank you. Tonight, we're welcoming back Don Yazzie. You guys love this guy. We loved him. He's got great things to tell. But in case some of you don't know, he is also now a host with his co-host Aaron Yazzie here at UPRN on Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern of Don't Whistle at Night. So you get all the goodies over there. So we're just going to sort of get like a part 2 of some of the stuff we missed, because it's always interesting about talking with Dawn is like, oh, this happened. And, oh, I forgot to talk about this. I'm like, well, for crud's sakes. You just turn around and be just like, okay, let's do this again, because, oh my gosh, it's just one of those places that has a blend of incredible things. So we're going to be digging deeper into the mysteries at the Navajo Nation, and there is a whole lot of good stuff coming up. So people are chiming in. Hello, Kat. Hello. Yes, right. There we go. Michael, hi. How are you? Hello, Teresa. Hello. Nice to see you here. And Kazon, hello. Wayne, Heidi, Mark, gang's all here. Patsy, hi, Sherry, hello. So, wow, everybody's sort of chiming in. Adrian, hey. So, if I'm missing anybody, I apologize. I'm trying to scroll down and get everybody literally. And remember, everybody, we are on Roku tonight. No chat room there. We're on X. We're on Rumble. Yes, I can see the chat rooms from both platforms. We are on 4 different YouTube channels, and we are on the Outer Realm Facebook. So I think that about covers it. Remember, flash comments up as we go. Any pertinent questions, I'll flag them, and we will get to them, I promise. So without further ado, our special guest, fellow co-host, Don Yazzie. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
Good. You're so chillaxed. Just like, not me. I'm not chillaxed. That's all the time.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I'd be scaring the Bigfoot away because I've just got that intense energy.
I don't know. You might draw him in.
Oh, great. Great. I had high hopes there for a minute. Just leave me alone. I'm too hyper.
For real, right?
So we had a lot. There was a lot of information given in the last show. So to recap really quick, okay, for picking up where we left off, maybe just chime off some of the things really quick, even if we mention them without getting into all of them, because I know we have other things to talk about. What are some of the sightings, just for those who maybe didn't catch the first show, because I know there are people listening today who didn't catch the first show. Um, so maybe just enlighten us a little bit as to what goes on at your neck of the woods.
Hello. Oh man, shoot, where do I begin?
Right?
Oh man, it's just like when you come into a room and you get a nice big plate of spaghetti and you throw it on the wall. This huge mess on the wall. It's just like that. You got a lot of things going on left and right.
Yeah.
And my story happened to start like ever since I was a child. I don't really share this with much people.
Yeah.
Um, every night, every morning, like around 3 to 2 to 1, I would be gone. People would try to look for me, my aunts, my uncle, my grandparents, and they would find me a mile or 3 miles down the pavement or the dirt road walking with my
Mm.
hand holding something's hand. And they would find me, there's no moon, nothing out, and my eyes is open. I don't remember anything that happened, or they would wake up with me dancing in the living room with something. I'll be dancing powwow, and
Wow.
I don't even remember anything at all. That's as far as I can remember just being brought.
That's so crazy, though. I love it.
Oh man,
I love it. Wow.
yeah, that's as
So
far as
something
I can remember.
spiritual, like something that you couldn't see, like an ethereal being.
Yeah, something you can't see, and like especially when I would go into a haunted place, I would feel or hear or feel something push me or hear a voice by my ear, and I'll just pause and look around. But okay, something is here. I just can't see it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
just a lot of things like that, and just witnessing a lot of poltergeists as well. A lot of the house that I was raised in was a former uranium miners' home out in the little community called
Wow.
Helchita. So there used to be a uranium mine over the hill. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
used to
Hi,
play in
Speckle.
those caves. Used to
Yeah.
play in those caves, and Bigfoot used to roam those uranium mine caves as well. And that's what I don't know if I covered that on the first episode or not.
No, we never talked about the uranium mines, and
Oh,
because those
yeah,
go down deep. I
they
mean, who
go
knows
down
what
deep
comes out of
underground.
there?
Oh man, just nice cool air on a hot day comes out of there. I'd be
Yeah.
playing at the
Mhm.
mouth of the cave like almost every day summer, all the time. And it's just a lot of mysteries upon mysteries, and also seeing a lot of UFOs as a child, and
Mhm.
seeing government airplanes, the stealth fighters,
Yeah.
seeing them fly low in those canyons. And this was
Yeah. Yeah.
way before it came out on TV. We see them, herding sheep and looking
Mhm.
for a Mustang behind those canyons. San Juan River cuts deep into the
Yeah.
canyons, and there's a secret base back there. And
Which
that's
we
where
now
we
know is and that the which base is that? Is that
it's
Dolce? Dolce? No,
Dulce is east, so
Dolce's
this is
East. Okay,
another, yeah,
another
this is
one.
another more unknown one. Yeah, they
Aha,
said
an
even,
unknown one.
yeah,
A lot
Bigfoot
of those
roams that
around.
whole area. Yeah, it's a
Wow.
canyon lens. Yep, right off the by Cedar Mesa. So a lot of our paranormal gifts goes back, around those mesas, because we used to have a chief. His name was One Who Quivers. So in Navajo you would say Kayeli. So he
Mhm.
was the local chief on that band out there in Utah. And whenever the enemy scouts or United States cavalry would come near, he would get chills on the bottom of his back, and he would say,
Right.
"Let's go, let's go." So he was always like one step ahead of the cavalry.
Yeah.
And another person that had that gift was Geronimo. They called him
Yeah.
dreamers. He would dream of the next day.
Mhm.
So that's another gift that I also have. Like the
Beautiful.
like the yeah, like the closest I can see is 3 days. I can,
Wow.
yeah, 3 days. Like I'd
Wow.
be like so I'd be pushing a stroller. I'd be having a dream that I'm pushing a stroller. I'm like, I don't remember whose kid is this. You know what I mean? And then 3 days later, I'm pushing my brother-in-law's son. Not knowing I'm outside of this place, this specific location at this evening, everything,
Mhm.
and it started happening and over, and it was scary.
Mhm.
And I
But
started
that's
leaving my
premonition.
body
That's
on.
a great gift. I mean,
Oh,
I guess it could go either way, right?
oh, yeah. I think I just don't understand it. I think that's all. That's
Yeah.
that's what it is. And
Mm-hmm.
and I also used to always wander off from my body as well when I go to sleep. And
Oh, out of body experiences or astral
yeah,
projection. That's cool. So when did that start happening to you?
oh man. Far as it goes back as
Long.
my whole family has that gift. Every
Yeah.
one of us have stories that we would levitate to the ceiling. We turn around and we see
Mm-hmm.
our body sleeping there.
Mm-hmm.
But like for me, I actually managed to get down from the ceiling and walk out the house and go up to the sky and fly around. I started flying around looking everywhere in the sky, and I noticed that there's this lady, a pale lady with her hair covering her face. She started following me from the ground. Everywhere I would be, she would follow me, and
Wow.
all the way up to she followed me home, and she came in through the back door. My room was by the back door. She
Mm-hmm.
crawled in all the way. She opened the back door, crawled in, went into my room, and crawled up my back and grabbed me. And I woke up, and that's the
Wow.
last time I
That's
really.
frightening.
Yeah, that was when I was a teenager. I stopped leaving my body for a long period of time after that.
So was she like a spirit individual? I'm assuming she was
Yeah,
like somebody you encountered while
yeah,
you
she
were
was.
traveling.
Yeah, screaming, trying to follow me. Like as I would get older, I noticed like I wasn't able to fly as fast as I used to be. So I
Mm-hmm.
was able to run, move a little bit faster than everyone else and every little thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you would travel out there, you would notice that other people are traveling too and doing
Mm-hmm.
the thing. And
Wow.
I just stayed in my own lane and just, mind my own business because I'm also having a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then yeah, it is pretty bad. So like the first time where we had the window open and I got my hair cut right at the swirl. That's where they would like to cut your hair. That's where your body is, your soul, like in your finger, you have that swirl.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where they would take it, and then that's where I had that dream of that old lady cursing me. And
Mm. Yeah.
it just escalated after years. And part of my family, half of them are Christian, and then the other
Mm-hmm.
half are traditional Navajo. They practice the Navajo way, Navajo ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would go to that family and hop out, rope wild mustangs or look for
Mm-hmm.
cattle, herd sheep for my great grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And then her daughter, she was my grandmother, and then I would speak with her grandkids. And they would always tell me, I don't like my grandma's fur. Like, what do you mean your grandma's fur? What are you talking about fur? She
Mm.
keeps it. She keeps it in a suitcase under her bed, and it moves around. And they're like, go open it next time. Go see what it is. I'm just joking, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
really did the next day. They were walking. I brought the sheep in this evening, and I seen two of them. They were walking towards me fast. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, either they really need to take a dump or they really need to tell me something important.
Noted. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm putting the sheep away in the corral and I'm observing them like they're walking a little funny, looking
Oh
over me
boy.
like, is there anything around me? Like, okay.
Yeah. Well, animals always know,
Yeah. Oh no,
right?
no. This was two of my cousins. They were walking
Oh.
towards me. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. The same cousins I told to go check it out, and they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
They said they opened it up and they seen hide and a coyote hide. Then underneath the coyote hide was a deer hide.
Wow.
So they're saying that my grandmother does things at night, and they actually pinpointed a little area, her cave in this canyon she lives next to. They say she goes in this cave in the evening time, and she comes back out when the sun comes out. So I'm like, oh snap,
Snap for sure. Has anybody like gone into the cave to have a look at what grandma does? Like, does anybody have any ideas? Like, is it ritualistic or is just maybe is there a portal or is there a group of other grandmas coming
um
up and like
all
like
that
like a
all that
coven? Like
all that would be really hush hush. The only way you would find that
wow,
out is if you
wow,
had night vision cameras and just camp out, observe, and you would
yeah,
see them enter into there. But if you see them trying to do their thing, their magic will not work at all.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
my great grand my not my great grandpa, my grandpa, he when he was small, this one ridge line is really haunted. That's where little people live. This ridge line.
All the little
Um,
people. Yeah.
um, yeah, they like to stalk women and children for some reason. They look like Native Americans. I'm gonna have more guests on soon that say
Yeah.
the same
Like,
thing.
can I ask how tall these things are? Like, are they like little or
Like
are they like,
2 no, like 2 to 1 feet tall around that area, and they
oh,
have, like,
wow.
braids. Yeah, they look like Native American, dark
Crazy.
brown
Yeah.
hair, but just Native American clothing on, and they would
Wow.
see you, they would freeze, and they would just you would look at each other like, "What?" Register, and then they would take off, and you would take off too,
Wow.
because I have my in-laws, they have stories like that left and right, like, they're going to this mountain, they're logging, and they would hear voices, they look up and they would see a lot of these warriors, little people, warriors with spears and bow and arrows staring them
Mhm.
down. And then the other brother-in-law would already be hightailing it back to the truck.
I
While
guess so.
yeah, well, the other brother's like,
Oh.
okay, they just hightail it. They stop doing woods because these little people look
Oh.
like they're about to shoot the arrow and they're about to chuck the spear at them because they're there with their chainsaw.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we got stories like that. And
Right.
so my grandpa, going back to him,
Yes.
sorry, I'm
Yes.
just everywhere.
No, 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 no. I'm the one who pulled you off track. It's okay. All
No,
right.
no,
Go ahead. You
I'm
can
just trying to
wrangle me
fit.
back in. Yeah.
Oh, I'll try to fit everything in here. Uh,
It's
I
good. It's good.
hopefully I don't miss out anything. So my grandpa, no, I'm gonna get my mother on here to tell the story. Um, so my grandfather, this Cone Ridge area where I was telling you about the haunted ridge line. So so a long time ago, they didn't really have a place to stay. They had more of campsites back then.
Mhm.
They're really poor. They would follow their animals, their cattle, the horse, the sheep.
Mhm.
And they would just camp wherever they are and take care of them. So
Mhm.
they settled in this ridgeline for a while. And my grandpa, his dad would always leave every evening, and he'd tell me,
Mm.
"Stay here. You better stay here. Better not follow me." And my grandpa didn't, just like my son. My son don't listen to me. So
Yeah. That's a good thing.
he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you better not follow me. Go to sleep." And my grandpa says, going to
Yeah.
sleep, and he took off. My grandpa got up and ran after him, and he's running along where he was he kind of guessed where he went, and he went up on this high ridge area, this like a little cliff, and he finally seen his dad making his way to this house that sat by itself. And then this house had fire on inside the house, and he can
Mhm.
see shadows of multiple men sitting around the fire,
Mhm.
and they're singing. And then his dad went inside, and they started. He can hear. He said it's quiet at night. He can hear what they're talking. They're saying. He said, "Okay." They're like, they said, "Everyone's here now. Okay, let's get started." So they rolled out a hide. He said they rolled out a hide. And they started chanting, multiple men, and one guy, he's up on the first one. He started running. He jumped on that hide and he rolled, and nothing. He rolled out still a human, and he's like Hashitza, like that, and that means like, what happened? What's going on? Like, I don't know. Let's sing again. Let's sing it. Let's try it again. Maybe we didn't sing it right.
Mhm.
So the third time, fourth time, that's when they said, "Hey, someone's watching us." And then as soon as he said that, my grandpa was on top of that cliff. He slipped. He
Oh, boy.
started falling down. He said like 15 feet. And he said underneath his foot, he felt something stop him, hold him up in the air. He said he looked down. There's a sheer drop like 100 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, he said he was
Wow.
he said that he just stiffened up and he was crying, and he said this thing lifted him all the way back up to the top of the cliff. He got on top and he ran back home.
Wow. That is
Yeah,
amazing. That is
yeah,
amazing. Like,
yeah.
just so much protective energy from your ancestors and other, ethereal
Mhm.
beings. That is an amazing story.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
I mean, how
there's
do you top something like that? It's like, you know?
oh,
Yes. Wow. Huh. So they were being watched. Do you think that's why they couldn't get their ritual going because there was an outside, outside eyes watching, do you think?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
that's a lot of times, because it's a lot of the secret. Everything's
Yes.
secretive, and a
Yes.
lot of people that leave that society, they have, they get in by offering blood, and they leave by
Mm.
giving their own blood, either by their whole family getting wiped out or them themselves dying. That's the only way they can leave. It's like a death cult,
Mhm.
like a magic death cult, because like inside, they can make portals anywhere.
Sure, you can.
Yeah, like I asked him, when I got older, I asked him, I was like, why do they run with red lights? And he said that red light is crystals, because Navajos use crystals a lot, and
Mhm.
they can project to you who's cursing you, who's giving you a bad time, and they
Mm.
would they would
Mhm.
project that crystal to you. You would see the face of that man or woman giving you hardship. They would show you, but they won't say their name.
Mhm.
I'm always at odds with medicine men. Not to you know
Mhm.
say bad
No.
things about them, but
No.
I'm a survivor. My wife
You're
and I are survivors.
you're
So
conflicted.
yeah, I'm sure there is good ones out there. I'm sure,
Mhm.
but we just know more of the bad ones growing up.
Wow.
And
You would think that medicine men would be more, they're the healers and they're the ones that guide you and the ones that keep everything grounded within the community. But you're saying essentially it's the other way.
yeah, they can trick you into a lot of things too, where they can teach you some songs. They can teach you some healings. They can
Mhm.
teach you some tricks where like you go into a haunted place and you can
Mhm.
cleanse the place. You can make that person go on to the next realm peacefully. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of songs. There's a lot of
Mhm.
different songs where you have to sing correctly.
Mhm.
So it gets really, it's really it's a lot of things on that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have more guests that hopefully can dissect that part for the audience.
Mhm.
Um, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that we can do to protect ourselves and each other. And
Mhm.
there are
Yeah.
some that will say, "Hey,
There.
I'll teach you this." They teach you a lot of things. They even teach you how to travel from point A to point B quick.
Mhm.
Then the final gift is, "Give me your firstborn."
Wow. So
Or
that's a really
yeah,
big,
yeah,
that's a big
or
price
that's
tag.
big. Yeah, it's a big jump. That's
Yes.
for the payment for all the gifts and the secrets they taught you. That's a payment.
Mhm.
Or they would say, "Give me the person that you love the most. Give him to me. You have to kill them for them, and they'll know."
And that this happens, of course, after the deed is done, so
You
you have to put that out.
you get
And
granted
what happens
all
if
the.
you don't?
They'll take your eyesight,
Oh,
or they'll take something from you. I'm gonna have a guest on that will tell the stories that happened to his father, because he was the original Navajo Nation police officer.
wow.
So many great stories, so
Mhm.
many great stories, and I can't wait to have him on here.
Yes.
Yeah, and so they run at night with the crystals. That crystal beams red. We used to go with my aunt and my two aunts. They used to work for a security guard, for Navajo Construction Authority. They were doing
Mhm.
water lines out in the middle of nowhere, and we would just be sitting in the car, and then they would have a portable DVD player, going into the cigarette. This is
Mhm.
back in the early 2000s.
Mhm.
And my aunt, she would turn this thing off. She'll be quiet, look, you know, and we will look out the windshield. We will see a red light traveling on the ground fast, and that's the
Mhm.
skinwalkers. That
Mhm.
that red crystal helps them see at night. And
Mm.
my grandfather, going back to my grandfather, he's telling me a story that don't be ever afraid of them, because you're afraid of them, that light will grow brighter, and they'll know you're scared, and they can do anything to you. You're powerless. You give them the power already.
Mhm.
He said,
Mhm.
if you see that red light, just know that's them coming. Don't be scared. Just keep an eye on that red light, because next to that red light is their bag. He said, grab their bag first, and then you give them a punch in their jaw. He said, knock them out right here. He said
Wow.
that. He said, if you grab
Yeah.
their bag, yeah,
Wow.
if you grab their bag, they'll grab their bag too.
Yes. Yeah, so you
Yeah,
have to
because like
grab with
all
one
their
hand and
tools,
hit
yeah,
with the other. Wow.
all their tools, they'll drop their defense and grab it and look at you like, no.
So
Then,
d
good night.
not this night. So,
Yeah,
do you actually see a lot of that, like, now? Like, do you notice that still? Like, is that still something ongoing, or is this something that you saw a lot in your youth?
it's still ongoing.
Mhm,
A lot of the youth, even now, I hear where I come from in my areas is really, really active right now, and
mhm,
we don't
mhm,
really know who to blame. It could
mhm.
be Bigfoot, could be ET because the alien gray can transform itself to like a big rabbit or
Oh,
something,
wow.
like something strange.
Mhm,
They can change, and we don't really know nowadays. We don't know, but some of
mhm,
them I can say that's Bigfoot, that's Bigfoot, that's a skinwalker, because like
mhm.
my first skinwalker encounter, I was 13 years old, and I was
Wow.
with my family, my Christian family. They had this church, and did I tell you this story? I told you the story, right? My skinwalker encounter, the
Well, we
first.
have a lot of things we talked about. You've had a few,
Yeah,
though. You had one when you
yeah,
were really young. When was this one here? When was
13
this
years
one?
old.
Okay, yeah, maybe. But there's people here who weren't here that night,
Oh,
so go
okay,
ahead. Yeah. I'm
okay,
just
yeah,
tagging questions and comments, guys. We will get to them, so just be
yeah.
patient,
I'm sorry, I'm
please, and
sorry. I'm
thank you.
just telling the story over and over. I kind
Yeah,
of
no,
get
no,
lost,
it's
but
okay because we have a lot of people who weren't here the first time. So just say
okay,
it again. Yeah, go
awesome.
ahead.
Yeah, so I was 13 years old, and I was with the family that were Christians. They lived up the way, and every when the church is over, they would have all the boys and all the men stay at the tent to protect the tent
Yeah.
because these tents. Oh, thank you, Wayne. Because these tents, the skinwalkers, they would go into there and curse every seat, curse every pole, the pulpit and the microphone, every guitar,
Mm,
drumsticks, everything. They would place their hands and curse every little thing to mess up that person's family.
mhm,
Thank you, Mark. To mess up that person's family, his harmony, and his home unit. So, they would do anything to hinder your path, in your walk path, in this life to be either alcoholic, womanizer, etc.
mhm,
So, this was one of these nights, and this was around 12 o'clock at night. And I was walking out the back of the tent because the rules are we would have to stay in threes or twos because, you're going to get taken. We don't want anything happening to you because we really got to look out for each other. And some of us would have rifles, carrying around rifles, or we would leave them in the car. So, I walked out the back of the tent. First was my uncle. He's like about 4 years older than me, so he had to be like 17. And then I had another relative of mine. He was a year older than me, walking behind me. Mind you, I barely hit puberty, so I was feeling rough and tough, like a million, like a
yeah.
million bucks. You know what I mean?
I can
And
take on the world.
yeah, yeah, I'm not scared of
Right.
anything. The moon
Yeah.
was full, and I can't
Right.
remember what I was talking about. I was talking to my relative behind me, and then we heard my grandpa's old Chevy truck. It was an old Chevy Silverado single cab. The shocks where you would jump off of it, it make
They
noise. We
knock.
heard that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we look. We stopped talking.
Yeah.
We look. It was bright night, and
Mm,
then we seen this figure coming down. He had a coyote pelt head. Then the nose is right here, but his face was all white. It
mm,
was white, and then you can tell he had some yellow lines, like probably look like lightning. You
mhm,
can see this was bright night. And then he was coming down like you're in the water, underwater. You're going
mm,
down slow, like it was
mhm,
really weird. And he didn't touch the ground. He was 2 to 3 feet off the ground, and his
mhm,
feet was coyote. Bottom leg was coyote. He had a tail, and his leg was and then his upper body, he had no shirt on. He had necklaces, a whole bunch of necklaces,
mhm,
sterling silver, turquoise, and all the jewelry on. And he had a Navajo blanket on, just like on the outside. And,
mhm,
he was just standing there. we're staring at each other, and my uncle, he's like, "Oh my gosh, the Skinwalker!" He took off, and I was taking us all in, staring at this guy, all his bracelets, and
Yeah.
then it sound like a bullet flying by you, and I saw
Oh,
like a lightning, like a yellow lightning, like down the dirt road, gone. And I was just like, "Oh snap!" I turned around, I was by myself there. I ran
not so
back
brave
in.
anymore, are we? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because
Oh my gosh.
I never
Yeah.
seen that before.
Yeah.
I was like probably like 25 yards from this guy, 20 yards. I was
Wow.
close. I was really close, maybe 15 yards. That's how close I
Yeah.
was.
See,
And
that's this craziness. I can't even I
oh
I can't
man,
imagine that.
oh, it was out of this world. Like there's something
And you're
more to this.
13. Yeah. I
13
mean,
years old.
yeah.
Yeah, I ran into the tent. I caught it with my uncle and my relative. I was that fast. So I caught up to them, and then they jumped on the youngest family member, the skinniest family member at the time. Everyone jumped on her for some reason. I was the last one coming into tent. Everyone decided to do a doggy pile on her. Boom, boom, boom. And then, not so scared anymore, huh? I was the last one to get on the very top. I was cherry. I was cherry on top. And then the
Oh,
we had
wow.
another relative there. She was older than us. She was a female. We're all teenagers, mind you. We're all teenagers here.
Hmm.
She's like, "You guys, stop! Get off! Get off!" We all got off one by one. Probably took like a good minute, and we heard a little girl crying at the bottom, and she got up pointing at me. I'm like, "Why are you pointing at me? All these guys got on top of you." I was very on top. I was on top.
You just added that little bit extra weight there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, everyone was on you, but I was way up there. I didn't do it. But
Yeah.
yeah, and
Wow. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So
that's that's frightening. I mean, it just seems like you could be just pretty much any given time out camping or just doing anything and you walk into an encounter, you know?
yeah, yep. And then going to my freshman year of high school.
Mhm.
After a football game, we went home. I got a ride with one of my football assistant coach. He was fresh out of high school, and it was our homecoming. We played against this team. We won. We stayed for a cookout with the other team. And
Mhm.
then we were leaving back home. This other team lived in Red Mesa, probably like 2 hours away. So they traveled far. And then with some of them that drove, we started racing from my high school. We started racing. Don't do that, guys. Don't race, especially on reservation roads. So we were just going, left and right. And he was in the '76 Chevy Chevelle Nova, and
Mhm.
this car, the seats was not bolted in, and it had no seat belts. So my seat was going left and right, back and forth.
Yeah.
And my assistant coach, he's stick shift, only one belt buckled, safe, and just looking at me like, "Hey, I'm just hanging on here, don't mind me." We started, racing with this other car full of girls, and we're going down this big hill, and
Yeah.
we're all of us staring at each other. And I swear to you, somewhere between with us staring at each other, I'm over here on the passenger, so I can see everybody, right? And
Mhm.
their car, and then our car, our headlights. And by one of my traditional grandfather's house, his
Yeah, yeah.
turnoff, something flew over their car, and it was a Navajo blanket. I seen the bottom, the patterns, and on top was a Navajo man sitting folded legs, and his back was straight up, and
I
he
was
had
levitating.
yeah, he was like Aladdin on the magic carpet, actually.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and he was just hovering right over our hood of the car, just right over, just going this way while we're driving. Going. This is where Forrest Gump ran up that hill. If you
Mhm.
ever know Monument Valley,
Yeah.
so that hill where Forrest Gump's at. So down there is my family land. So my grandfather, he went across. I believe it's him. It looked like him. One of my grandfather's older brothers. So he got arrested soul. So he had a red button-up Wrangler shirt all the way up, and he had blue jeans. and he had two things in his hands, and his leg was folded Indian style, and his
Yes.
back was straight up, and he was sitting on the Navajo rug. He flew over that car, and he flew over our car, and I seen the trail of dirt that was following him, and that trail of dirt and the rock hit our windshield, and the back passenger side tire of the Chevy popped. It popped. We heard boom, and bup, 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 and we lost control of the car. We're probably going 90 miles an hour right
Mm.
there. We were going everywhere. That the car full of girls, they just kept going. And
Yeah, I
we're
guess
fighting.
so.
Yeah, we're fighting for our life, and I was going everywhere in that car, and I was like, this is it. This is how it's gonna be, and I
Jesus.
accepted it. I accepted it, and he gained control of the car. We got off the road, and I was sweating bullets. As soon as we got off the dirt road, I got out the passenger side, went to the back tire, kicked it, and it wasn't popped. It was fully inflated. There's nothing wrong.
So did you ask your family member? Just like, was that you? Or no, nobody wants to go there, be that guy, right? Was that you? Or
Our family is like split.
oh, I
Like,
see.
yeah, yeah. Even
Right,
still to
right.
this day, his
Yeah.
kids, and my grandpa's kids, they don't know who their own family is.
Oh, so it's been a really
It's
long time.
split. All both
Wow.
sides are accusing each other
Yes.
of witchcraft.
Yes.
So
Wow.
it gets pretty bad.
No kidding. That's
Yeah.
insane. I just want to bring up a couple comments or questions.
Okay.
So Heather, hello Heather. She says, "Did you see more when you were younger, or is it the same now that you were older? Do you feel like are they more attracted to children?" All of this we were talking about skinwalkers and at that time where this question came in.
Hmm. I think if you're a target, but they do target family members' children's first.
Mm-hmm.
They start killing the children first, and they work their way up to their main target. So they would
Yeah,
want their
the
main
most
target to
vulnerable.
see, yeah, they want to see their main target, their family die around them first.
Mm-hmm.
They kill everyone around them first and the last one.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And yeah,
This is
it's
just a
pretty bad.
comment. Yeah. Next question is from Spark, actually. Are you, no disrespect at all, labeled or considered a warrior for your tribe, or are you a seeker for knowledge, like, let's say, from an elder or a shaman? So, how would you consider yourself? Warrior or elder, let's say shaman type, or a bit of both?
Mm.
After that
But
frickin' I'm icing on the frickin' cherry on the cake story, I'm opting for the warrior bit.
oh man, um,
I go with that.
Survivor. I'll go with
I'm
Survivor. I was kidding.
surviving.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But
Yeah, yeah.
there's hard to find people that would go after Bigfoot, and it's hard to find people that would go after, what makes the noise, what bangs at night.
Mhm.
And for me, being a Dene man, being a Navajo man, our role is to die for our women and children. And
Yes.
that's, when it comes to women and children and, the
It's
elders
honor.
involved, yeah, that's when I
Honor.
go and be of service.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so like a lot of our warriors, we would have turkey feather, because like when you would go hunt, the turkey, the biggest one, would go and present himself to the shooter. He would spread his wings open and say, "My heart is right here, shoot me,"
Mm.
and he would
Wow.
look back to his family and tell them, "Run, go hide." You guys go hide another day. I'm giving myself up for you. So
Wow.
a lot of our warriors would had turkey feathers. So if you would see a warrior with turkey feather,
Mhm.
he's not the one that's going to retreat. He's there to die and to give our people an extra day to hide and run and live.
Mhm. That's
So
all about honor. It really is,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know. Because those turkeys are freaking badasses. When I
oh
was in
yeah,
Romania, I was there with a couple of my friends, obviously, and we had this big, crazy turkey. I don't know if they're
Yeah.
just big in Romania or if they're that big here, but it followed us all over this island. I'm thinking, oh my god, the
Wow.
size of it. I know. It was just very like intrigued with us, but they're huge. I don't
Yeah.
think some people realize how big these things really are.
Yeah, they're big. They're very sacred. They're one of our sacred animals because
Cool.
from the last destruction of the world,
Mm-hmm.
the water was rising and rising, and all of our people were saying, "Where are we gonna go? Get what we need." They started getting like stuff. They weave their blankets and stuff
Mm-hmm.
they would need, cradle board, and then
Yes.
this portal opened up. The Rainbow Bridge opened up. And then everyone said, "Let's go escape this way. The water's coming up too high. Let's go. Let's go." Everyone got through. They got through the other side. The side that they got through was inside the Grand Canyon, one of the caves. So they got out
Wow.
there, one by
Wow.
one, they all got out and they see the water on the other side of the portal coming up. As the portal was closing, they say, "All right, who got the seeds? Who got the corn seeds, the squash seeds, the beans,
Yes.
the bean seeds?"
Mm-hmm.
And so, everyone they forgot. And then they're like, "How are we gonna survive here? We're gonna die. We're gonna starve to death now. We can't grow anything." And then as the portal was shutting, the turkey is the last one to come through that portal. And that last world, all of us and the animals, we were one. We all spoke together the
Mm-hmm.
same language. And when all the animals came through from that portal to this world, they couldn't speak the same language as us anymore. And the
Oh wow.
turkey came through and there's like, "Oh, the turkey made it here," and the turkey was trying to speak to them, but it was just
Couldn't
gobbling.
anymore.
Yeah, and so
How incredible.
this turkey opened up his feather and he started shaking, and all the seeds came out. So the whole time as the water was rising, the turkey was picking the seeds and putting him in his wing. He was the last one to come through the portal.
Wow. What an incredible piece of oral history. I love that. Um, Teresa, hello. How do you protect yourself and family from being targeted?
From what I can remember, my grandfather, he would have a lot of cedar ash on him. And he would
Mhm,
put it across us, and then he would sing a song, the protection song, the Sacred Way song.
mhm,
There's many other different ceremonial songs you would use, and the one of the things that we grew up using a lot was that sacred name. We would use Jesus's name a lot,
mhm,
and the family down over yonder they would use a lot of mainly remedy of chants, protection songs, the healing way. So there's a
mhm,
lot of different songs, thousands of different songs that a lot of our elders would remember, and they would sing that, that remedy, the vibration, the everything would just make the whole scene just at
mhm,
ease, more tranquil. It would change the scenery that way.
mhm.
And or other times we would just get guns and start
Yeah,
shooting, and
that'll do
that
it.
helped out a lot. Yeah, my uncle was known for that. Something be banging on the door, ba ba ba, with his 30-30, and I'll
Wow.
share that. I'll get into that story where he might have shot Bigfoot.
Okay. One more.
Okay.
One more question pertaining to what you're talking about. What
Oh,
kind of things make someone a target?
oh man, just being in Navajo on a Friday night.
Wow. That's harsh.
Yeah, there's
So
a
there's
lot
no
of
rhyme or reason. Like there's no rhyme or
just
reason.
yeah, just like for my clan and other people's clans, we don't get along. We all come with 4 different clans. I will
Mm-hmm.
share them, but I have to
Yes.
get comfortable with everyone here. It's my
Yeah.
secret identity. You know what I mean? It's my own little.
That's okay. That's okay.
so like
We'll
a
let
lot
it
of clan
slide.
rivalries. It's like
Yes.
yeah, a lot of clan rivalries. And then like
Hmm.
you would move into this area. And someone lives in that area, a group of family, they would go to their family medicine man or to another medicine man that lives over yonder that's well known. They would
Hmm.
say, give him jewelry, give him a horse, cattle, sheep, money, a
Mm.
vehicle, and say, I don't want this person here. get rid. Oh, hello, Michelle. They would say,
Yeah.
I don't want this
Yeah.
person here. Get rid of them. And this medicine man would come in his skinwalker form. Yes, Batman. Let me get my cat. I have my black cat. I'll put her over my head, and that's Batman right there. Where's she at?
So here, kitty, kitty. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
So really, it could just take getting the attention of a rival clan member. It doesn't even have to be anything highly strange, such as,
A
like
mission.
a skinwalker or a certain
Yep,
other
mission.
cryptids that seem to plague your area.
Yeah, yeah. The like a lot of people that used to travel that area, you would know songs, sacred chants. While you're running, something would pick you up and take you to that area. So there's
Mm-hmm.
songs to go from point A to point B.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, it all goes back to our oral traditional stories.
Yes. Alan, clans, not gangs, clans. Clans. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a
Yeah.
lot of clans. The like our tribe, we each every individual Navajo comes with 4 clans. The first one comes from his mom because we're all what our mother is. So
Mhm.
like if we were to get a piece of our hair,
Mhm.
we will be able to track our mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother. So
Yes.
we're all just transmitter. Even though we're a male, we're still transmitter from our mother. So the Navajo
Yes.
tradition is we're a maternal society. So
Mhm.
our first clan is our mother, our second clan is our father, our third clan is our mother's dad. Our fourth clan is our father's mother.
Crazy.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, and then
Yeah.
like even if you're a Christian, you're a target. They go into your house, they mark you for death. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Or if like there's a lot of people that chose not to become a skinwalker. They couldn't go through with that sacrifice
Right.
because that person knows much. All
Mhm.
that whole little secret society will go after the whole family
Mhm.
and make them go crazy or kill them or make
Mhm.
that man go blind or make him an alcoholic and drink himself to death.
Mhm.
Slow death is what they would
Slow death.
prefer for that person, but
Yes.
everyone else would be a fast, horrible death.
Mhm.
It's no peaceful death. They would die from a horrible sickness or a horrible accident, like a lot of my family went out.
Mhm. Right.
You know,
Right.
yeah, like my grandfather, he was supposed to die in this accident. My grandmother died, and she kicked him out of that vehicle. They're having an argument on the dirt road. She kicked him out, and probably 4 miles down the way, she lost control. She got ejected. The truck rolled on her,
Mm.
and then we found my grandpa, and then he left that night. He went to some party, and when he went to that party, there's this medicine man that was drinking there, and when he seen him come up, that medicine man his eyeball was huge and his mouth was wide open. And he seen my grandpa come up to him. He's like, "You're supposed to be dead. Are you are you dead or are you here?"
Right. So the
He's thought,
skinwalker's having a few drinks too with the medicine man, and it's yeah. So he
yeah,
doesn't even know
that
what he's on about.
that that
Wow.
medicine man said, "We
Wow.
did a song for you and your wife to die. You're not supposed to be here." And that medicine man walked away.
Wow. So that,
Yeah.
I mean, so
And then
so what do you
yeah,
do when you're marked and it doesn't work out? I mean, they keep coming after you?
yeah. So you're
Wow.
dead. So you're
Crazy.
dead or you lost your mind. You go to insane asylum. That's one of the things they do. You
But
lose
your
your mind.
grandfather obviously,
He's my grandfather. There's something obviously guiding his path since day
yes.
one. Since
Yes.
day one,
Sounds
that's
like
what I
it.
believe. Yeah.
Sounds like it
There's
for
so
sure.
many stories that, from one man alone. A
Yeah.
lot of great stories. And my great grandfather, he was a skinwalker slayer. In his area, he was known as the Yanni Slayer, because he would capture the skinwalkers and take them to all the areas that people dwell. And he would have that skinwalker tied up, shifting in the back, and he would tell everyone this person's identification. That person would die 3 days later.
Wow.
Yeah, you would have to be very brave.
Yes. Wayne says, "Is there any way of reversing a skinwalker's mark, or are you sort of stuck with it for life?"
Oh, you have to find one of those diamond in the rough, those good medicine men that
Mm,
practice the light side of the yin yang
yeah.
instead of the dark side of the yin yang. Because every medicine man has knowledge of light and the dark side. It really
Yes.
depends on which way he wants to go or
Hmm.
how he wants to be of service.
Hmm. Yeah, like
Yes.
light work,
Yeah, yeah.
shadow
So
work, chaos energy, that kind of thing.
you know, and if
Yeah.
you don't go through with the sacrifice, they take your eyesight, and then you will find the medicine man that knows how to restore your eyesight. He will
Hmm.
give you your eyes back.
Wow.
And
That's
yeah, like if you are alcoholic, you would go to a
mm,
medicine man, he'd pull out beer tabs from out of your skin and even pull out a full Budweiser can out of you
that
or
is
a bottle out of you.
that is insane.
It's crazy. I mean, there's so much things that I don't understand that I seen
Just
and
it's just the physics of it. This
yeah,
like that. Like I
yeah,
know. I
yeah,
know.
yeah. And I just gotta look at everyone. Did you see that? Did you see that? Okay, I see.
Yeah. Did that just happen? Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
happened.
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I know there's such a thing as projecting what you want people to see, you know? Like, some people will say, "Oh, well," they'll talk about shapeshifters, 'cause sometimes this happens with ETs, and they'll say, "No, they're projecting what it is, how they want you to perceive them, how they want you to see them."
yeah,
Maybe they're not actually shapeshifting, maybe they're just projecting that image to you. But when you're talking about the pulling actual beer can out of you or tab, I'm kind of like, how
yeah.
is that even possible? Anybody
It's
chime in? Dawn and I are scratching our heads. Yeah.
the no Navos won't say because it's too much
No, for
info.
sure. Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah,
no, for
I'm
sure.
I'm yeah, I'm not even
Yeah.
supposed to be speaking about this in here.
No, I know. I know. Shh, everybody. Shh.
Shh, don't
Yeah.
tell everyone.
No, tell me what. Oh my god. So,
Yeah.
okay, so you have a Bigfoot story, the one you were just mentioning. There's the
Oh,
one
you want
outside the
me
door.
want me to you want me to tell the time I ran over a cryptid that resembled a giant cat? I don't
Yeah,
think I shared that story.
we could talk about that. You have, a story with your uncle and Sasquatch. We can talk about that
Oh,
later. Or we could talk about
okay.
that first, and then we can talk about the cat or saber tooth, whatever you want.
Okay. All right. We'll get into my uncle's story. Um when he gets out when he comes back from the big boy vacation house, hopefully I'll get him on my podcast.
Right.
Make sure you're being good boys out there. But anyways.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one time back in the early 90s, we would have visitors my great grandmother's house every night, every single night. It's hard to go to sleep. Having the blankets covering your head to counting 100 sheep to 1,000 sheep, and you
Mm,
hear things outside. And we would take turns, taking care of my great grandmother. And I guess one summer night, she called my uncle saying, "There's someone keeps coming around here at night. Somebody keeps trying to come in, and I'm trying to tell them come in. The door's open. Navajo's wish that, come in, come in." So he hung up the phone. He was living in Moab at the time. He went back to a Four Corners area that evening, or that morning. Yeah, that morning he went over there and he went to sleep during the day. Then at night, the night came. This long trailer. The trailer's still there, but in a different location. So this is an old trailer from the 70s,
mm,
narrow windows and everything. So he was in the middle room. He opened the window up. Sun went down. He opened the window up a good 9 inches. He said he got in this closet that was kind of diagonal to the window. It's an old sliding closet door. He
mm,
sat in there. He left that closet door this much where he can see the window. He had a bull mastiff. Her name was Suma. Really
mm,
good guard dog. I felt safe whenever she was around.
mhm,
So she was right there in front. So he trained this dog to hunt skinwalkers. I'll tell you maybe a few stories of him killing a skinwalker,
Yeah.
and more. I have more skinwalker stories.
Okay, let's do
So,
it. Yeah, for sure.
so,
Yeah.
so he had this dog sitting there, and it's another story I'm going to tell you. The same thing correlates. So this correlation that always plays that hits us there is a cool breeze comes through the window, it hits your face, and you go to sleep. That happens to us. I don't know how that happens scientifically,
Mm-hmm.
but if you feel the wind breeze hit you nice and cool, you go to sleep somehow, some way. That happened to him. He fell asleep in the closet. He had his rifle right here. I guess he said he fell asleep. He doesn't know how. He said that wind felt so good when it came through. And his dog was headbutting him. His dog was licking him, and he was trying to get him to, get up, wake up, wake up. And he did. When he came to, he looked in that, looked out that crack, and he said that he's seen the giant long black arms, hairy, reaching in like this, like halfway into the room, long black
Mm-hmm.
hairy arms. And he said that, and it poked its head through the window. He says a silverback gorilla. And then he said that it poked his head back out the window, and it put his arm and his shoulder and his head. He fit his head in, and he was trying to get in. And my uncle said this thing was too damn big to get in that little window. He said he's looking at it. He jumped back in the corner. He went, oh, boom. He freaked out. And then he kicked open the sliding door. He grabbed his dog. He threw his dog, and the dog turned into a torpedo. Tackled that silverback gorilla looking thing out the window.
Okay. I have a question. I might have to phone a friend, but I'm going to ask anyway. So you had a silverback gorilla.
Bigfoot, maybe.
A Bigfoot. Because that would resonate more with me. Mind you, the things that happen on the Navajo Nation, it could have been a gorilla. So a silverback gorilla, yeah, trying to get into your home.
Take my great grandma.
Oh,
It was doing this all week, and when we were there, it was doing it the whole time, trying to get in.
wow. Wow.
The trailer is high up from the
Yes.
ground too.
Yeah.
So this sucker was huge, over 15 feet tall, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I can't explain it to you. This is early 90s.
Yes. That's like nothing surprises me. Well, it does, but I'm pretty open minded. So that's insane. So what happened? I mean, 50. I mean, for something that size had to be a Bigfoot. Maybe that just pretty close.
Because
That's insane size.
I found 23-inch tracks, and another Navajo found 23-inch half tracks. So if you do the math on that, he is over 12 feet tall.
Oh, so your uncle shot.
Oh yeah,
him,
he
and
threw
yeah.
the bull mastiff. He said it tackled it, and they went back out the window. He said it screamed like a lady dying, and boom! He said that as soon as they went back out the window, he made his way out the closet, and he said he was staggering. He said he was trying to his left and right.
Mhm.
His equilibrium was off. He says something was not working with him at all.
Mhm.
He got it through the door. The trailer's a narrow hallway.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
going boom, 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 all the way down. My great grandmother was screaming, "What's going on? What are you doing?" He got out the hallway. He made his way to the living room. He got to the front door. He opened the door with his flashlight. He seen the gorilla and his dog rolling like this, rolling underneath the truck. He said it looked like one underneath the truck, and his dog came out crying. He said his dog was crying, coming towards him, and he shined the light. That thing was already like 30 yards running away from the truck that fast. And he said
Wow.
as it was running, the ground was shaking. And he said it sounded like a helicopter propeller. He said it was running all the way down that way.
lot
He
of
grabbed
weight.
a lot of
Yeah.
weight. And then
Yeah.
this church is probably like about 200 yards away from that trailer. There's this hill that's 100 yards away from that church. This hill, and it goes down to a creek
Mm.
wash. So he pointed his rifle that way. He said he knew. He said he doesn't know how to explain it. Some way, somehow, he pointed there. He knew it as he timed it. The foot running that way, and he released. And he said that bullet went all the way, and he said he heard a huge thud, and that bullet was spiraling into the sky on fire, and it was whistling. And that thing, he said it was. He said he got it in the back of the head. He said he got it.
Didn't even do
It,
any damage. Like,
it
oh,
fell.
yeah. Oh, it did.
Boom! He says a loud crash,
But
and
it
it
still got
got up
up.
screaming. Yeah, it was screaming bloody murder, and it was running. He said it wasn't running like do 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 where it was. He said it was like ba 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 boom, and then the scream, then ba 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 boom, and scream into the night.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That is just insane.
Yeah,
Like that. I mean, the fact that it was trying to get to your grandmother for a straight week
this
is
is
just, it's
after.
frightening. It's frightening.
Yeah, yeah, and this is my great grandmother's house where I was raised. We had chicken, we had cattle, we had the animals. And as a child, I realized that look, they all started going missing.
Yeah, well, I bet you they did. Yeah, it was
Yeah, we're a
an
grocery store.
ongoing, food source. Kathy, hello, says, Don, do you believe that all of the Navajo Nation in Utah is a portal between dimensions? Ah, yeah, Don. We've talked about this one.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I seen the portal open up in the sky.
Mm,
I'm gonna bring my brother-in-law, and he has amazing stories of skinwalkers and ghost stories. I can't
yeah,
wait to share him with you guys.
I
So
can't
I was
wait.
driving with him, and each of these experiences, I was not alone, thankfully.
Yes.
Thankfully, I always ask that person, "Did you see that?" Okay. Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
we're driving up this one
Oh,
huge hill, right?
yeah,
And this huge giant rectangle in the sky, like right here, a
yeah.
gigantic window opening up here in the sky, giant square, and it looked like the sun was coming through. Like you didn't see the sun, but light was coming through. So much light, and then someone closed it, like you close the window, like this.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was
Oh,
like, "Did you see that?"
that's
He said,
insane.
"Oh, yeah." And then even I'll take you into my Ouija board right now experience.
Oh, you didn't.
Yeah, she said portals, so
Okay, okay.
so
Yeah.
um I was 15 years old at the time,
Mhm,
sophomore, a wild sophomore in high school. No, I was just kidding. But so I was a sophomore in high school, and I was with my cousin. We're this area, a local area on the reservation, and he had a girlfriend that he was dating like 7, 8 miles away from where he lived.
mhm,
And it was evening time. He wanted to see her as well. Let's go over there. They have a basketball court at that chapter house, and
mhm,
maybe we can hang out over there. It's haunted over there too. Maybe we'll see some ghosts. That's what I was saying. So let's go. We got
mhm,
on his dirt bike, we rolled over there, but his girlfriend lived in the community. So it's like a street that goes like a big circle, all these houses, lights around. So it's a Navajo housing community. So we went over there to his girlfriend's, and by the time we got there, it was dark. And she told us to come to her window. We went to her window, and she's like, "Come in, come in. We're gonna play Ouija board." Before I got, I was like, "Wait, what? The Ouija
mhm.
board?" I was like, "Okay, yeah."
Oh,
So
you said,
yeah,
"Yeah."
so
Oh,
it was my
boy.
cousin and I were the only guys. His girlfriend, her two sisters, and they had a friend. So it was four girls. And I looked at my cousin. You can see in his face, he's like, "No, no." And I was like, "Let's go." So I didn't want to be chicken.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe this won't work.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna
Yeah.
chill and hang out and be myself. So I'm
Right.
gonna be a fly on the wall here.
Yeah.
So I sat down, got comfortable, and they had the table and the board and the candle. And they started playing, and just looking around, and they told us to be quiet because their mom's in the next room watching a movie. So
Mhm.
we had to be real quiet. So there's 6 of us in that room,
Mhm.
and so they started playing, and they're doing the thing. Then they're writing it down what it was spelling out, and then they got done, and all their jaws dropped, and they said lights off in 3 seconds. Then we all counted together, same time, like a rhythm. We're all 3, 2, 1, and then we heard all the street lights off outside one by one. You can hear all the transformers shutting off. All the street lights shut off, and then the light coming from the hallway, coming underneath the door, shut off. The last light
Mm.
was on was the candle, and the candle shut off by itself. And I was like, "Oh no, no!" And the candle
Yeah.
came back on.
Yeah, yeah.
Candle came back on, but the candle was blue and black, and the flame was this high, and it
Mhm.
was, and it
Yeah.
was something like something's happening,
Yeah, yeah.
And I was looking
Oh,
around.
boy. Oh, boy.
We're
Yeah.
all
Right.
teenagers here.
Yes.
And we're looking at each other, all of our eyes,
Not
like
one
a
of the finer
Western,
moments.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a spaghetti Western
Uh,
movies, like looking eye to eye. The
yeah.
candle was like almost like a foot. It was blue and black. Bop, bop, bop,
Mhm.
bop. And then I knew something was gonna happen. This is
Mhm.
just the beginning of something. And I started scanning the room with each light flashing was blue. And I see in the corner a dark figure, like a little person,
Mm.
probably 3 feet tall, like had his like was like a kid in trouble facing the corner, the wall. He
Yeah.
was facing the wall. Then he turned like this, looking at us. I was like, oh my gosh, and then his eyes was white as big,
Oh,
and
boy.
he let
Yeah.
out a big grin, a smile, and I seen his teeth was all block square. He was cheesing at us. The whole thing is flickering. It's like flashing a light, and
Mhm.
then this guy started moving, and the way he was moving was like this, like zigzag. And then as he was getting closer, there's a trail of smoke, like a shadow trailing him. So he's moving like this. This thing was coming so fast, and it went right in front of me, and I can see the shadow behind him. And he flew right past me. The whole time he was flying by me, he was staring at me, teasing it. He jumped in the girl sitting next to me, and this girl jumped up screaming like a man.
Boy, that's not good.
Yeah, she jumped up, and then like probably
Oh.
2 feet in the air. She was boom, boom, roar. And I grabbed my cousin. Boom! He was calling, "Let's get out!" He got out first. I got out. The girls, wait. Before we both got out, the girl jumping up and down. She ran to the window and jumped out the window, just head first, just like not like this, not
No.
leg first, just went
Oh, wow.
and boom. Good thing we weren't multiple stories. It was a single story
Oh
house. But
my gosh.
seeing
Yeah.
that, it was so fast. She was
Yes.
fast. And I grabbed my cousin, chased him out. I got out. The mother came through the door. And they were, what are you girls doing? And that girl that was outside with us, boom, got up and giggling like a girl, like a high pitched giggle,
Oh.
like nothing was wrong, and my eyes was so huge. I was like, "Oh my gosh, let me get 6 feet distance from her, from here on out."
At least. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
she's all the window, got the windowsill. Oh,
Oh.
we're just messing around, like like she was. It was scary just looking
Somebody
at her.
slap that girl. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
whoa.
yeah, she
Well, there,
crawled back.
lesson learned, right? Lesson learned. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
but we
Okay.
didn't finish though. We were in another round. But if you have any stories right now,
Oh, they have they have names for people who do stuff like that.
I don't know. I don't know what you call
dumbass, maybe, but
that. Oh, I didn't want to be chicken.
no,
Those
I
girls said,
know. Well,
those
now it's
girls are
about
like,
image. Yeah.
those girls are like,
Oh boy.
you want to play again? And I was like, oh my gosh. Looked at my cousin. He's like, I was like, let's go. Let's play again.
Your cousin's going now, but there's
Yeah,
Dawn with both feet.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And this time I said, I was like, this time we're not coming in, okay? We're gonna stand outside the window just in case if that little guy wasn't coming in again, or we're gonna be outside this window. So the windowsill, I was on the right, my cousin's on the left. They brought the table to the windowsill and started playing again. Yeah, I was looking around like, damn, this is scary, man. This is so scary. But look like you're tough and stoic.
Oh
But anyways,
boy.
so they playing again, and then they said that lights off and three. That's why chicken got survived. Oh man, that's a good one. So 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 they started playing again, and this time the girl said, hey, the board said the two boys outside are mine. And I was leaning on the wall. I was like, what in the hell kind of stuff is that? And then the wall that I was leaning on, there was no wall. I seen a giant spiral of vortex in the wall, and it sucked me towards the wall. And I put my hand on the 2x4 stud that was behind the wall. The stud was right there, and then the stud on the windowsill, boom, and it was sucking me in. And I was inside the house. I don't know. I'm trying to explain it best I can for you.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was in the house, and I was looking down this portal. It was a tunnel. It was spiraling, and all this tree, because there was a tree, there was grass, there was vegetation around us. All of them was being sucked into this spiral, into this house. It was just wind, and it was black and gray. I can see the spiral shape, and
Hmm.
then I pulled myself out, and then I looked to my left, and I seen my cousin. He had a little bit further longer hair than I did. He was emo stage back then. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, the hair all one side like this. So that hair was like this, okay, it was going
Wow.
into the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like looking at me. We're looking at each other. We pushed ourselves off the house,
Yeah.
and those girls did something to the board to make that thing go back to normal.
Wow. Wow. It's not hard to open portals. That is for sure. So you didn't go for round 3, right? Like that was it for you?
Yeah,
Please, please say you
yeah,
didn't go for round 3.
yeah. By then it was like 11 or 12 at night.
It's a good time to just call it quits and
Yeah, it was spooky ride home on a dirt bike, and we just had a little flashlight 2 feet in front of us, and that's the only way we can see driving on the dirt road home. Spooky. That whole dirt road home has little people that live in those little tiny hills that come out when the moon is full. They come
Mhm,
out, they go to every bush and gather some kind of herb in those bushes. We don't know what they're doing, but they
mhm,
have one lookout that's on the top of that little tiny bush hill looking
mhm.
out. And if he hears anything or he hears any person, he goes, and everyone stops. They pause and they're quiet. Then he makes another noise again. They go back to digging underneath the bushes.
Wow, so they have like a little watcher who just sort of like keeps
One
an eye
guy.
out while
Yeah.
everybody's out. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fascinating to me how all of these, like throughout the world, not just like in North America, but there's stories of little people, and it's always like the indigenous people of every civilization, like every area, that all have stories, and they range from, let's say, a foot and a half to like 3.5, 4 feet.
Mhm. Yeah. And then a lot of them correlates them helping us out every now and then with medicinal purposes,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times where they would take a child and that child's gone. He would come back, but you would be dead, but he would come back at like, he would age really slow, but he would come back to that same family
Hmm.
and give them messages what's going to happen in the future.
That's crazy. So you're this eventually be this big guy or full size adult living with these like little people,
Yeah, they're
you
like
know?
they normally say they're down there making sure that it rains and the water flows and the grass grow green.
Yes.
Like it goes from the crow. That's who the crow's deities are. The little people out there in the Beartooth Mountains, Montana, Billings
Yeah.
area.
Yes.
It's a little people country and Sasquatch country.
That's quite a mix, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like one
beautiful.
extreme to the next.
Yeah,
Couple of comments or questions. Wayne says, when you saw the portal initially in the sky, on an average, because I guess he's making reference to the portal you saw. If it had any specific colors, or was it spinning, or for you, it was just like a big window.
yeah, in the sky,
Somebody just shut the
gigantic.
window.
Yep, it was just open, like someone like say like every part of the sky has a square, like pixels. You know
Yes.
what I mean? You know,
Yes.
like everything
Yes.
has pixels, and then just that one pixel had a malfunction. It looked like that, like it
Does it
was like
make you feel like you were in, like, kind of like a Matrix,
Truman
or
Show.
or in the Truman Show? Yeah,
Yeah,
Truman
Truman
Show.
Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
made me
see?
feel like. And you know,
Yeah.
I have no one to help me explain that. And
Mhm.
my drive is to capture all that, you know,
Mhm.
and evidence and proof along with witnesses, because I'm not the only one that sees all these goose eggs all around the reservation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something that's everywhere.
Hmm.
Um, okay, next question, Kazon says, "Dawn, what's your take on the newer Skinwalker Ranch stuff?"
Oh, I haven't really been watching
Oh,
that because
yeah.
it's kind of like the same thing over and over. But far
Yeah.
as our people's stories, um, way back in the day when this was still Mexico still claimed this area. Um, so America took over this place, right?
Mhm.
And when America took over this place from Mexico, Mexico told America, the first people you want on your side are the Utes.
Mhm.
So the Utes betrayed us. You know, we used to be really great, close friends at one point,
Mhm.
and they betrayed us. They started raiding us, and you know, we had this tribe on this side, this tribe over here. You know, all of them got on the America side, and they all blitzed us from everywhere. And you know, we the next day we woke up, you know, we're like, wow, everyone is coming to destroy us. You know,
Mhm.
it's already been written. Like we already said that one day they're gonna come and take us, not once but twice. The
Mhm.
second time's coming. So, you know, this is the first time, you know, this was a genocide on us. And they said that you know, let's get into hiding. We're gonna have to go into our magic. We're gonna have to depend on the night, the magic blanket of the night to cover us to hide. So that's
Mhm.
what our first goal was, to go be a night people now.
Mhm.
Only way we can survive is if we adapt to the night.
Mhm.
So they agreed to that, and then all the medicine men came together. They said, we're gonna curse the Ute over there, the Noa Da'atene, the Ute people.
Mhm.
So they all got together and they said the circle's broken. You know, the balance of life, everything is out of balance. Let's correct this.
Mhm.
So they went and faced towards the Skinwalker Ranch, the heart of Ute land, and cursed it. So a
Hmm.
lot of those skinwalkers they would see there on the camera and the witnesses are the Navajo men or
Mhm.
women going over there, making sure that Ute land is still under that spell.
Hmm. Wow. Again,
But like,
incredible oral tradition, story.
yeah,
The lore is phenomenal.
yeah, it's amazing. You know, there's endless amounts of stories left and right, and
Mhm.
you can go over another hill and then you'll have more stories go over this hill. You know,
Mhm.
everyone has all their own unique stories, even goes down to their clan, you know, from what they remember from their clan family.
Mhm.
It's really beautiful.
Mhm. Oh, I can imagine. And it's sad because so much of it gets lost. So it's nice when you can see it, getting passed on to your kids and so on, grandkids, and that's how.
That's how I see it, you know, with this hello Melissa, with this podcast and with coming onto the network, how to preserve our uh our uniqueness, our culture, identity, you
Mm.
know,
Mhm.
to preserve some of these things is here with you guys. The
Mhm.
only way that our culture and some of the stories will live on is sharing it.
Mhm.
And us Navajo people were known to be adaptive, highly adaptive,
Mhm.
and we have to adapt to this time, this digital
Mhm.
age, and this they call it the crystal world we're in right
Yes. Yes. What I love though about your show is how the different nations come together. It's not you're not just having Navajo people come on and talking about this. You're sharing very similar stories and experiences. You're having people from the Apache, from the Blackfeet, like you're just bringing people in from everywhere to share their incredible experiences, which they're really similar,
now.
from area to area,
Hmm. It's
you know.
amazing, ain't it?
Oh yeah, it is. I listened to the shows. I was like, damn, this is like really, really something.
Yeah.
Um, what I find super interesting is the fact that, you see so many different things. We've talked a little bit about saber-toothed tigers is the one that I'm still sort of in awe about. Do you think this is but I mean you gave us stories about goatman, centaurs, saber-toothed tigers. We've have
Lizard man.
lizard man, right? That's a good one. But I think those come out of inner earth. There's got to be, it makes you wonder, were there somewhere in those mountains if somebody disrupts something where there are always portals allowing things to come in and out. Do you have an explanation, in your opinion, um, how all these things are happening in one place?
We have multiple areas across the Navajo Nation that are entryways to Hollow Earth, and
Yes.
multiple stories that tie Bigfoot, other cryptids from Slender Man to the Rake, running into these same areas, these caves. And not only that, there's also a guest that I'm gonna bring on that speaks about a water serpent, a giant snake that they seen on top of a mesa watching them.
Mm,
Giant snake
yeah.
disappears in that mesa. So I got locations and a lot of stories.
Hmm.
And from us, the Navajo people, they tell us to leave them alone. You know, leave them
Hmm.
alone. They're doing their things at night. You
Hmm.
let them do their things at night. You stay out of their way, unless you want to be dinner or have some nightmares.
Hmm.
Yeah, or you want a lot of ceremonies done on you.
Yeah.
That's what they would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we would let them do what they want to do. We would let them be free, and then a lot of things they would tell us is don't tell the outside world, because we don't want them coming to hurt the
Hmm.
centaur. We don't want them to take these horsemen away. We don't want them
Yes.
to hurt Sasquatch.
Hmm.
We don't want them to mess around with these little people.
Hmm.
They have every right to exist. They have a life, and so do we. So let
Hmm.
life be as it is instead of regulating it.
I think it's a great way to look at things because you're sharing space with beings that have been there long before you.
Yeah, we don't want them to be taxed neither.
Mhm. Yeah.
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 But yeah,
I think sometimes some things are just better left alone. But I mean,
yeah.
some things come to you, okay, from Rumble, Speckled Egg. Hello. What do you believe a rake to be?
One of the mini monsters that our monster slayers had pity on. They
Yeah.
had a chance to kill them all. We have two monster slayers, Yei and Shkiji. That's how you say it in Navajo. The two
Mhm.
monster slayers. They chased them all into Grand Canyon, this very deep, deep cave, this very deep pit in the cave in the Grand Canyon. They chased them down there where no
Mhm.
light can touch. So they got them down there and they had a
Mm.
chance to kill them all, but they had pity on them. They said, no, killing all these monsters must have done something to them,
Mm.
and they realized that this is not right, taking a life. Every
Mhm.
life is sacred. We should let them be as it is.
Mhm.
We don't have
Yes.
no right. Yeah.
It sounds like they do come up from, obviously from underground, maybe from the cave systems. I think when you open up a lot of those mines, you you
Yeah.
are you are disturbing things that are gonna find their way up.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
yeah, like I will have another guest from the Blackfeet Nation that has a lot of stories like that where these mines open up and these little people come and raise hell and they have to stop work. They have to
Yeah.
stop mining.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Um, okay. Heather says, do any of the things you're talking about say anything, or is it just a feeling?
The things you were talking about saying anything was just a feeling. Like them having speaking capabilities, is that what she means? Or
Yeah. Can you elaborate, Heather? Do any of the things you're talking about say any? Oh yeah. Do they say anything? All of these beings that you're encountering, do they say anything, or you just is it just a feeling? Is it telepathic? Is it?
a lot
Yeah.
of for the Senator, he'd be
Yes.
outside, he'd be doing his war cry, running around.
Hmm.
And Bigfoot, I got up close to him. Yeah, I didn't even think
Hmm.
of Bigfoot. I thought it was a skinwalker. All he
Yes.
did was he waved side to side like this, and he was
Yeah.
screaming,
That's enough for
Ron
me.
Ron Moorhead, his
Ron
Sierra
Moorhead.
sounds.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I
the
know
same
Ronnie.
scream, the
Yeah,
same vocals, and
yeah,
all
yeah,
I this was before any all this, I was just a kid walking around at past midnight on the reservation.
yeah,
And
yeah,
the little people, they the stories go back as they're the ones that help us out. So a lot of the old Navajo deities and the Hopi deities that they make the little figurines, that's them.
yes, yes. Oh, okay, that's
Yeah, so
interesting.
they taught them some ceremonial songs, and they taught us ceremonial songs as well.
Mhm.
So they do interact with us, in
So you can
different ways.
coexist with a lot of these different beings
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
you share space with.
yeah. And then going back to our older stories during the genocide days, we had this Canyon del Muerto, so Canyon of Death. So Navajo Nation called Canyon del
Mm.
Muerto.
Mhm,
So this one, these guys were at this one, this butte. It's like a huge butte, and they crawled all the way up. And they
mhm,
held out there, so a clan was hiding there while this group of cavalry and Ute scouts were at the bottom. So it was a
mm,
siege, and they're sieging, for a while. And when the sun went down, they either let a little girl down with yucca ropes, or they did a human chain. They let her down. She would get water. She would sneak between those soldiers and get water and
wow.
sneak back up. And then they would let her down again. She would sneak past the soldiers and run across the desert valley floor, climb up the huge mesa into the forest up there, the juniper and all the
Mhm,
forest. She would gather as much juniper berries as she can in her bag, climb all the way back down the 1,000 feet cliff and run all the way back across the desert floor, sneak
mhm,
back across the soldiers, everyone, and then
mhm,
crawl and then climb back up. And they would live off the water and juniper berries they would eat and make soup.
mhm,
And they noticed that she was getting a lot faster. And then they would say, "How are you bringing back more bags so quick? We just barely put you down. You're already back. This is impossible. Tell us your secret." And she's like, "Oh, my grandpa, my hairy grandpa up there, he already has these bags. These sacks she's bringing are woven, not are strange woven by hands.
mm, yeah.
Strange. Someone else did this. They've seen it, how it was done. They untied it. They're like, oh my gosh, could this be Bigfoot? He was always looking out for
Wow.
us. Yeah.
Yes,
So that's what
yes.
she called Bigfoot, my hairy grandpa. He knows what we're going through and he's helping us.
See, isn't that so sad when you think about it? I mean, I think not the fact that he's helping you, but the fact that there's so many people out there right now that are just trying to kill these things, these guys. Just, did you
Yeah.
think that they just don't have an understanding of how to deal with them or communicate with them? Because they're very telepathic and
Like the
children
what?
are innocent, so they probably sense the innocence.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like when he saved my wife's aunt from a blizzard. He saved her that one night too.
See? See?
Did I tell you that story?
You told me one story with your wife. but not your wife's aunt, I don't think.
Where she was saved in the blizzard, and this thing carried her all the way home.
Okay, and still visits. Still visits?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Yeah.
yes, and then the other part of the mountain during the genocide, they left all their kids alone. And then Bigfoot was taking care of them for that 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, he was building fire, cooking, and giving them water. And he was keeping the soldiers away from them and the enemy scouts away from them, because when they would camp at night, Bigfoot would crawl around their outside their camp and scream all night long. And those
Yeah.
cavalrymen would have bags under their eyes, so it'd be like a guerrilla warfare, like
Yeah,
a
oh, yeah.
psychological, you can't sleep, something screaming, you're hunting, and you can't
Yes.
focus, and then
No.
plus you have Navajos doing some witchcraft on you.
Yeah.
So a lot of things going on. Who knows what else they seen here? UFOs,
Oh,
lizard men.
out that way, yeah. I bet you lots of things. That doesn't just go away because of a time difference.
Yeah.
Um, Kathy's wondering if you actually see dire wolves out there. Dire wolves have been seen out in the area of Utah of Blind Frog Ranch, of Skinwalker Ranch. Do you guys have dire wolves out your way? Because I know you're all within just a few hours of each other.
Hmm. We haven't really seen dire wolves, but
Okay, that's interesting.
anything bigger than coyotes is skinwalker. That's what we know.
Okay, which brings me to the next question from Heather. Do they ever talk?
Yeah, they'll speak in Navajo only.
Okay,
There's this one
Navajo only.
story. There's this one story not too long ago. This one kid, he's from a Navajo YouTuber story. So
Mm-hmm.
this one kid, he was raised out in Mesa, Arizona. So he was Mormon, and he came back to the res, and he's helping out his grandpa or his uncle and his cousins during a sweat
Mm-hmm.
lodge meeting. And he went through like 2 rounds. In the third round, he's like, I don't want to, I'm done sweating, it's too hot. So he's like, okay, go up to the trailer is about 100 yards away from the sweat.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, go up to the trailer and knock on it. If anyone doesn't open the door, just come back.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll go up there and open it for you. So he went 100 yards to the trailer. His aunt and his little sister was in the trailer. He was knocking on it, nothing. And he was making his way back. So there's a basketball goal right by the trailer. And he heard someone whisper in Navajo. When you whisper, we say, shh, shh, to get your attention. He heard
Mm-hmm.
that, this was real late at night. So he's heard someone, shh, shh. And he turned around and he said this thing was so huge, his head was the same height as the basketball goal. And he said its body, it had skinny, muscular arms, and his legs was muscular and long. And he said his foot was a wolf's paw. And he had a Navajo kilt, like a mini skirt, but a Navajo style with designs on there. No
Mm-hmm.
shirt on. Same thing, turquoise, sterling silver, rings on, bracelets. And he had his bag, his satchel, his toolkit. And he was full werewolf head, and the moon was out. This
Mm-hmm.
kid seen it, and this guy was speaking in Navajo. So this kid was raised off the reservation. He could understand Navajo a little bit, but he understood every single word that this guy was saying. And not only he can hear it with his ear, he was
Mm-hmm.
hearing it telepathically as well.
Telepathically.
And this
Mm.
guy was saying in Navajo, your church stuff is not going to work here. You have no power here.
Wow.
What you believe in is completely false. No, no, no. I'm not trying to offend anybody
Yeah, no,
out
no,
there
no, but
that's
no, but
Mormon.
it's
This
true.
is this is
And
just
I
a
mean,
story.
I've worked with people for a couple of decades, and the way to empowerment for them to accept what's happening is to work with whatever it is that gives them faith. Not everything gives them faith. For example, if I'm dealing with a Catholic, I can't go necessarily start speaking of a different faith that they don't resonate with. So it's not insulting. It's a fact. You have to
Mhm.
go with what works. Another question. When receiving a telepathic message from Bigfoot, is the communication in a series of pictures or is it an actual voice?
Uh, I didn't,
That's interesting. Like,
far
have you
far.
ever seen a bunch of images while being close to a Bigfoot, or do you? It's just thoughts that you get.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say no, but since you said it that way, when I got up after I don't know how long, I was looking at those huge eyes. I was getting closer. This thing stopped pacing. It was like walking back and forth, looking at me,
Mm-hmm.
walking back and forth, and I was getting closer, and it stopped doing that, and it
Mm-hmm.
turned it towards me. His eyes was so huge, and he started vocalizing. It's
Wow.
strange. Ron Moorhead, that
Yeah, Ron
weird,
Moorhead. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this thing started like I
Ah.
was like, I stopped right there, and then I felt everything, and then it was screaming for longer than 20 seconds. And as I was staring at it, deep inside, it triggered an old struggle, an ancient struggle of an ancient battle of an ancient enemy.
Mm-hmm.
It woke in old memories that we forgot.
Mm.
Us as human, we forget things a lot as human
Yes.
beings, short-term memories. And
Yes.
seeing that thing, it was like, this is the monster, this is the beast.
Mm-hmm.
There's something bigger out here. There's an apex, that's a predator. All this
Yeah.
predator. This is the
Yes.
monster. Something bigger out here than me.
Yes.
And I embraced it. You know what I mean? I was like, there's
Yes.
this adventure. That's why I took this more to explore.
Yes.
And and it
Yeah.
backed off. It walked off.
So you
And
obviously made a connection with it, and it didn't feel threatened by you,
oh man,
possibly.
not me, but it was probably looking at the woman and the teenager that we were with, because it was stalking us from 12 to 3 in the morning in those creeks, those little tiny canyons.
Wow.
This
Wow.
sucker was on top. I was hearing him running around, there's rocks falling. I didn't tell anybody. When I got back to my family after getting real close to Bigfoot, he had
Mm.
red hair.
Yeah.
His head was domed, and it was like a 5 by 8 sheet plywood
Mm.
standing
Yeah.
there. And I got to my family, and they're like, "What was it?" And I was like, "It's a bobcat. Let's go. Let's keep going. We're fine." They walked
Or a
away, buried
saber-toothed
us.
tiger.
Oh no, that one's different. This one was standing on two. This one's standing on
Yeah.
two.
As a
And
bipedal. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
and then like 3 hours later, it's tried taking my cousin. He got a little ahead of us. He was on four. He said it was running towards him on all four. It looked like a red orangutan. And I ran that same trail where he almost got taken. We ran to a wall that pungent stank.
Mm.
And you know, I didn't even think it was Bigfoot then. 10
Right.
years later, listening to these wonderful podcasts and
Mm.
exploring the world of podcasts, because I had so much questions that, still aren't answered still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be an answer out there.
Ron
I'm a research.
Moorhead, he's good for that. He's done the show a couple of times. He is wonderful, so well versed, so humble, and he completely understands the whole quantum side of things, like the Sierra sounds, but also the whole telepathic connection. You know, a
Mhm.
couple of questions again, Heather. Has there been a lot of people, or do people go missing? So has there been a lot of people go missing?
Yeah. There's a lot of people currently missing still from the 60s, from the
Wow,
30s. There's
wow.
a there was this well-known Bigfoot research lady. She doesn't do this field anymore. Her name was Brenda Harris from the Navajo Nation as well. She has stories going back to Bigfoot running after vehicles and snatching kids from the back of the pickup truck.
Wow.
And then there's stories of Bigfoot snatching a little girl, and they would find her years later as a young woman in the wash, and she couldn't speak English, and she's only screaming, and she was speaking a strange language that they couldn't understand. And at nighttime, she was awake and she was screaming and howling, and they would hear screaming and howling responding
Oh,
back to
boy.
her, and she was
Yeah.
crying because she wanted to go to them. And
Mhm.
then as she became a young adult, they noticed that she started learning how to take care of herself when she became a woman, but they noticed that there's something still wild within her.
Yes. Well, I mean, how can you not? You see it when you hear of cases of children who have been lost in the woods and wolves have, there've been
Yeah,
cases where wolves have cared for
yeah,
them.
yeah.
And they come back and they're running on all fours and I think I've read of a couple of different accounts of that,
Mhm.
that have been documented, which is crazy, but I could see that. But you see, it
Yeah,
just shows a whole other side, like an integral family
yeah, yeah.
dynamics, you
Yeah.
know?
I can't put my fingerprint on him, but when I've been doing this investigating, it gets scary. There's
Yeah.
sometimes he's pictured as a monster. Other times he's a good guy, and I'm like, what are you?
Mm,
What are you, guy?
mhm.
Because I can go on for hours on some scary stories of him from
Yes.
firsthand, from eyewitnesses. And
Mhm.
so going to back to my saber-toothed tiger, this was one of these nights. I was a freshman in high school. This was after a football game. I live 18 miles away from the high school off of Highway 163. And after a football game, no one didn't pick me up. No one didn't take me home. None of my family were there to watch me play. And I had
Mm.
to walk home all the way from the high school. And this was around 11.
Wow.
It sucked. So that same stretch of highway, there's always something following me in the night, in the dark. And
Mm.
there's only so dark, the night would be so dark where you would only see the white stripe on the road.
Mhm.
That's only guiding you, hear something pacing you.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then as I got older, driving that same road around 3 in the morning, I think I finally found what was pacing me, following me. And because I got through this pass and I had my grandpa's truck, I had my cousin sitting beside me and my aunt, she was sleeping on the passenger side. This was around 3 in the morning again. So
Mhm.
I was
Yeah.
driving and I was joking around with my cousin. We're both laughing, and out of nowhere, the vibe changed. It got quiet. We shut up, and then we're getting close to this house that was probably like about 100 yards off the highway. Dirt road went to the house. So we see the yellow house, and we see a giant cat sitting on the porch beside the house. That cat's head was as tall as the house, the roof of the house.
And there were multiple sightings of this as well, right? And
Yeah,
not just some scared kid walking down the road. I
three
mean, there were multiple sightings of this thing.
multiple three families that have eyes on this had eyes on this, all
Yeah.
first-hand stories that I got.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this cat was sitting there, this big old tail, like a house cat, but giant. My high beam was on there, the light was on there, and I was turning this way to get on the road away from the house. And I was like, it's still registering. I was like, you know, and that cat, we could still see the house and the cat. And that cat jumped off of the porch and it started running towards us. It jumped over the fence and running heads on towards us. And by the time I was watching it the whole time, and I looked at my speed, I was going 60 to 70 miles, 65 to 70 miles an hour. This thing jumped on the road. I looked down at it. I looked up, and I seen this the fur on there, the pattern. It had the
Mhm.
strange patterns on there that I never seen. And it was running towards us, and that's when I went, ah! And my cousin
Yeah.
beside me,
Oh, boy.
ah! And
Like the
and
scene from Wayne's World.
yeah, we're both ah!
Yeah.
My aunt,
Wow.
she had the seat reclined back.
Wow.
She's all, "Weapons, screaming!" Yelling top of her.
Yeah.
And then I turned the truck a little bit, and then this thing hit the back driver's side. The whole back bed went up.
Oh,
Boom! We're bouncing on the road, and my
yes.
cousin and I, we were laughing hysterically at each other, and my aunt was still yelling at us, "What you had?" And we stopped laughing and we're like, "We don't know." And like about
Yeah.
200 yards down the way, I flipped one and we went back to that spot looking for any signs of fur, blood, nothing.
I have to ask you, like, you have a lot of, I mean, a lot of these lands and have a lot of petroglyphs. You guys have petroglyphs. I think you showed me a photo. Do you guys have anything that resembles like some of these sightings that you're having right now? Like, does it go back way back where you see some of this imagery on rock?
Yeah, all
Really?
over the place. Saber-toothed tigers. Even there's that one, the long neck dinosaur,
Yeah.
Stegosaurus. There's
Wow.
petrograph Stegosaurus here. I'll send you that
Okay. So
picture.
some
Yeah,
how old do they think those petroglyphs are?
40, hundreds of thousands of years old, maybe,
S-
possibly.
Wow. So somebody on that land put them
Yeah,
there long before. Wow.
Stegosaurus dinosaur. Then
Yeah,
you would
yeah.
see pterodactyl as
Yes.
well. Yeah, and
Yes.
they would have humans in their mouth. They're eating humans.
Wow.
You would see like three humans on the bottom, and it has
Yeah.
one human in its beak about to eat it.
Yes. That's
You see a
wow.
lot of those six-finger beings, and you would see the alien with three fingers. He's like
Yes.
chilling like this. Then you would see all
Yes.
kinds of UFOs and Bigfoot.
See, that is incredible that that's all been documented because,
Yeah,
I mean, they only documented and emulated what they saw.
yeah,
So this is
yeah,
stuff that you're still catching glimpses
yeah.
of.
We can decipher some of them as well. They even tell you where to stand and where to hide from game, and even show you where the water hole is and where to stand. And
Yes.
it'll show some long those bighorn sheep right there, and it'll tell
Yes.
you to kill, shoot. It'll guide you to where to stand. You'll see a pictograph of foot,
Yeah.
and it's saying stand right here. Then you stand this way, and there's a pictograph of a bighorn sheep at the water hole. And you look a little bit past that way, you see the water hole down there. It's telling you stand right here, wait for the sheep to come. And then when the sheep's right there, it's when you shoot your bow.
Unbelievable that you have all of this history just documented for you. This
Yeah,
is
it's right
amazing.
there. It's right there. And then we still have people here that don't believe. Like we have evidence here. What
Yeah.
more do you need? Get out your house, you know?
Yeah. There's shit going down everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, like every
Oh,
time I would roll up in the community, anyone outside, I tell them, "Look up, look," and they be like, "What in the hell?" I'm like, "I see, look, I'm not the only one." It's yeah. So it
it's
gets
stuff.
exciting like
It's
that.
there.
Yeah,
Did you have any of the portal images? Like, do you see the spirals in the those petroglyphs, the petrographs? Did you see any circular spirals that look
yeah,
like portals?
all over the place. Yep, and a
Wow,
lot of them.
see? So
Yeah,
they've
there's different kinds. Yeah,
yeah, they could have been there like
the Rainbow
forever.
Bridge is what we call it. Rainbow Bridge
Oh,
portals.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of these if you would there's a portal near Rainbow Bridge, and little
Mhm.
people come in and out of that portal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you don't think see, here's my question because you and I mean, obviously you and I have spoken, right? So we know we have little people that come out of there. We know we have I mean, obviously we've got a saber-tooth tiger, we've got a centaur, we've got like stuff, they're coming out of someplace and they're not
Giant
just
bat,
living it's a giant bat. See, I'd like the giant bat because I love bats.
gargoyles,
I love
uh,
gargoyles, yeah. Okay, the giant spiders is a bit much for me though.
5-foot spiders.
5-foot freaking spiders, people.
Yeah, and
Just saying.
they're in this mountain protecting a deity called Spider Woman. She's one of our sacred deities.
Wow. So they have that connection to her.
Yeah, at the underground, the hollow earth entrance along with Scimitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nope.
it gets crazy.
Yeah. See, that's insane. Kazon says, "Do you think the symbols were made during ceremonies or visions?"
Along with
Your petroglyphs, yeah.
a lot of messages and what they seen, and a lot
Yeah.
of times is clans and areas that they're migrating through.
Right. Yeah.
Yep, some of those clans will be Salt Clan. A lot of our people moved around a lot. A
Mhm.
lot moved around. And then
Mhm.
we have different areas, passageways where it said this clan comes through here at this time.
Mhm.
And also this is the sky people. And
Mhm.
they'll
Yeah.
describe what they see in the sky over there, or they would tell you, "Hey, be careful, there's Bigfoot here."
Right.
tracks. They'll have that, be careful here, or they would have a giant person track, six toe. They eat people. So
Giants. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they'll tell you, they'll point which way, they're over here, they're over there. They'll even write, they'll draw a pictograph of a Bigfoot family or a giant family. You know, the dad, the mom, the baby, all
Mhm.
together, tracked together. And then they
Yes.
would also have their family clan emblem that is dwelling there,
Mhm.
who they are and their family.
So, question: when you see Bigfoot, do you think the giants is the 6 digit giants? Do Bigfoot have 6 digits, or are we looking at something entirely different? Do they
Different,
have the five? Different. Interesting.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the giants were completely a separate entity.
Well,
Huh.
the Bigfoot was created along with us from the creator. He
Yes.
created us together. And the
Mhm.
giant fixed toe, they came later because a long time ago, our people had a huge disagreement. The male and the female. One side stayed on the other side of the Colorado River. The other stayed on the other side of the Colorado River. They had
Mhm.
their male and female. They got real huge disagreement on like ceremonies and stuff.
Mhm.
So as they had a division going on, the star people came down. They noticed all this disagreements. They came down on the male side and on the female side, and then they started making giants. They started mixing, and
Mm.
then when the babies came out of those women, the women would die. They
Because they're
had the
so big.
six-fingered beings, yeah, and those people raised hell, and they created a lot of chaos on Earth. So
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons why the last world had to be destroyed. This is
Mhm.
like the same thing from the Bible, the Navajo
Yeah.
oral story. It's
Yes.
just,
Yes.
yeah, it's just like
There's different
mirrors each other.
versions. Yes. That's
Hmm.
yeah, that's very fascinating to me. I love how the correlations just crisscross. Adrian Dawn, would you be willing to share with us what beads make up your necklace and what powers it has? Did you make it?
Oh, this is a gift from my sister-in-law. Sterling silver, turquoise, and white shell, I believe.
Hmm.
So when you would make these for somebody, for a loved one, you would have positive thoughts the entire time you're praying for that person. So when she
Hmm.
made every single one of these, or every single individual ones are prayers, are
Hmm.
thoughts, good thoughts. Every one are individually put together with good intentions
Hmm.
all the way. And there's also different jewelries that represent different things. And maybe, hopefully, I can stay at a cheaper place and you'll see me
Yeah.
rock some Navajo jewelry more often.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk
And
about it.
we do have a ghost beads that's juniper berries. That was our answer to smallpox when it first came. It started wiping everybody out, and what
Hmm.
we had to do is we got the juniper berries and boiled them and dried them and wore them around us, and we drank the juniper berries as juice, and we recovered from smallpox. So it's called ghost beads. That's what it's
Hmm.
called, the nickname, ghost beads.
Hmm.
It helps ward off all the bad spirits, the sickness, the plagues, and all that too,
Hmm.
and also a reminder as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I love that. And we're already like at the top of the hour already. I can't freaking believe
Oh,
it. Where'd it go so fast? It's crazy stuff.
I know. I
So,
didn't even get into some of these things, but it's all good.
so what do we have to do? Another one?
We'll see. We'll see. I gotta write it out.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, I wish we did have more time, but we're already right at the top of the hour, unfortunately. So tell everybody about your show. Tell everybody who's coming on this week and what time and what people can expect.
Okay. Yep. I'm Don
Advertise yourself.
Yazzie. Oh,
Yeah.
hello. I'm Don Yazzie with Don't Whistle at Night. 107.7 FM, New Orleans. We run our show Sunday evenings, 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time with my co-host Darren Yazzie. He as well has seen a lot of amazing things, and he got really close to a organic dogman looking being right off the road.
I have to
And
bring him on.
yeah, he needs his own show himself.
For sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's one of the
Done.
reasons. Yeah, one of the reasons why that drew me to him and reached out and say, "Hey, you want to be my co-host?"
Yes.
Because he's a knower and a believer too, and to
Yes.
have someone back me up like that, is it's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. I
And
love that.
if you're Native American or not, you can reach out to me, and I love to speak with the witnesses, the eyewitnesses, or if you have stories from your neck of the woods, you don't have to be Native American. If you know, I love hearing stories, especially if it's from the Southwest. But you don't have to be from the Southwest, and we
Mhm.
just love hearing stories. This new age storytelling.
And that's 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central.
4 p.m.
So
Eastern,
this way,
3
sort of,
p.m.
yeah,
Central.
move that along. Yeah.
I got right.
So I love it. I love it. Oh, and Dawn's freezing up.
Oh
Uh-oh. Oh, there you
no!
are. And you're back. Okay, good. So everybody thank you guys all for, the chat room always on fire. We just have an amazing group of people and I just adore you all and I appreciate you all so very much. And I thank you. Thirsty, you made it. Hey.
Oh man! Cheers.
Woohoo. Now on Tuesday, guys, Bart Sharp returns. He's here all the way from the south of France. This is on Beyond the Outer Realm, in search of the Christos and goddess consciousness, making a resurgence. Goddess Sophia, and no stronger place in the south of France. So he is the host of Becoming Quantum Conscious right here on UPRN, which is every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday, we have the return of Dr. Christopher Macklin, and he's going to be talking about the Stargate Expose, an AI military industrial complex. Going to be one of those shows. And Thursday is open mic. So we know what open mic means. Anything goes. We're going to just like load her up and talk about all sorts of fun stuff, forbidden knowledge, things you're not supposed to talk about, hidden archaeology, just weird stuff, you name it, we're on it. And if you have anything you want to see talked
Oh,
about, message me. Yes, Don. To-
I forgot to say my guest. I'm sorry, I
you
fumbled this.
say it,
My
man. You
guest is
go.
gonna
You
be
go.
Rod Williamson of the Blackfeet Nation. So that's gonna be
Yeah.
my guest. I'm so sorry, I fumbled it.
Don't.
I just got nervous. But
That's
yeah,
all
that's gonna
right.
be
Just
Sunday.
get it out there. I know. It's all right. That's fantastic. So check him out, guys. Check him out this coming Sunday. We have a whole array of fantastic shows and the whole lineup for Friday tomorrow, starting with Ethereal Encounters, at 3 p.m. Eastern. Then we've got Father Sean, who comes on he's at 5. And then we've got Spirit Switchboard at 6. And then we've got Church of Mavis at 8. And of course, we've got news on the flip side at 10. It goes on and on and on. There aren't too many moments on this network where there isn't a show coming. And I can tell you right now, I'm in the works with at least 3 more shows coming on. And I can assure you they're going to be outstanding. So with that being said, I hope you all have a terrific weekend. Check everybody else out. And you'll probably see me just tinkering around in some of these chat rooms here and there. All right. Good night, guys, and have a great weekend.